Hello, I am Brie Clayton with the Creative Cow Show. Today, my guest is Heiner Lesaar of Elements. Hello, Heiner. How are you doing?
Hello, Brie. I'm very well. Thanks for having me.
Elements saw a pretty good year in 2021, so I wanted to kind of do a year in review with you. Can you introduce Elements to the Creative Cow audience? Kind of give us an overview of what Elements does?
So, Elements is a media storage vendor. Means that the only industry we sell storage to and we develop storage to is the media entertainment industry. We don't go after banks or any other kind of stuff, just pure M&E. We started about 10 years ago when we saw that there's, we would say a gap in the market for a highly dedicated media entertainment storage product that is really easy to use, but incorporates all the latest technologies and is really powerful, but really helps, the editors more than the IT guys in their, everyday work. Regarding 2021, it was really quite an amazing year for us. I mean, obviously, we had a lot of challenges with everything going on in the world. The team at Elements itself was really fine. All of the customers were really doing quite well, and from that point of view, there's nothing really that bad happening for us. But obviously, there were a lot of challenges in terms of supply chain. Not just the stuff that people talk in the news day in and day out. About COVID and all that, but it was sometimes relatively hard to source components, but we managed to get hold of a lot of stuff and we managed to get a lot done. And one of the biggest announcements for us was a partnership with a new file system technology called BGFS that was originally developed by the Fraunhofer Institute, and we're really proud about this. And we managed to ship a couple of really big projects as well. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about this later. And yeah, from that point of view, 2021 was surprisingly great. I mean, as everybody knows, the trade shows have been canceled. It was a bit of a surprise for us when IBC dropped out in the last minute. And IBC is obviously our big show of the year, being a European-based company. But other than that, we had an amazing year.
Yes, and then the BGFS file system. Now that became the fastest storage appliance for video that there is. Is that right?
What we did with the guys from ThinkPark, which is the company behind BGFS, is when we decided to introduce a new file system to the media entertainment industry. That's quite a religious topic to many people. File systems. There's people have love-hate relationships with file systems. Even if it's technology, they really are emotional about it, and often for good reasons. Because in the history, we've seen that common IT technology has often failed in the media entertainment space for various reasons. And we wanted to, prove the point that BGFS is really capable for M&E. It is, since many years, well established in science and, high performance computing and all these kind of markets, but M&E was a new market for them. So we wanted to prove to the world that BGFS is highly capable. And to do that, we designed an environment based on Elements Bolt, which is our all NVMe storage appliance, and the BGFS file system. And we decided to compete in the so-called SpecFS performance benchmark, which is from the Standards Performance Evaluation Corporation. It's like a club of storage vendors that have decided to develop a fair benchmarking platform to compare storage performance with each other. And we decided to go for the VDA workload, obviously, which is the video workload. And we achieved the highest result ever with BGFS on the Bolt. And obviously that is super amazing and proves the point that BGFS is really good for video as well.
Yeah, very powerful. Now, obviously, the pandemic did give us a lot of obstacles to overcome, but it seems to have highlighted a very interesting progression in the industry, and that is the fact that we can do so many things remotely. And
Yeah.
do you feel like Elements was able to kind of ride that wave and
Mhm.
help develop these workflows for the creative professionals?
And Elements was in a really good spot already when COVID started in the beginning of 2020, because we've always been about collaboration. We've always been about adding, collaboration features to media storage to make it really easy to exchange comments and, to work on the same projects and productions and share timelines and all this. So we had already a really strong offering when our customers approached us and asked, to be able to work outside of the facility, which is obviously quite a challenge if you think of the data rates that video files these days have. And then if you think of the internet speed, that is really a problem, because you can't squeeze those video files just through your normal internet connection, most often, I would say. So we looked at the market and we saw that there was a need for an easy to use, let's say, remote access tool similar to TeamViewer or Remote Desktop or BNC, which some may know. And there have been a lot of special companies around that did, high frame rate streaming for creative workflows in the past. But they were quite complicated to use, or they required dedicated hardware for it. And we found the guys from Parsec. That was a startup at the time that focused on developing a cloud gaming software. A tool that is used to stream video games from somewhere to somewhere else, so that you can play your really, really heavy new 3D game from your laptop while you're on the road, say, for example, somewhere else in a hotel or so, over Wi-Fi. And the challenges between streaming games and editing video, where you don't want frames to drop and where you don't want any latency and where you want it to be really snappy, they are quite similar. So we thought, maybe we should approach these guys and see if we can collaborate and take their really, really neat technology and incorporate it into the Elements ecosystem, to allow remote editors to access the workstations in their facility nearly as quickly and nearly as fluent as if they are actually right in front of their machines. And that became Elements Satellite, which was at that time really, really a breakthrough innovation, I would say, because it also incorporated a lot of the security requirements that customers nowadays have, where they think of MPAA, TPN, all the big studios with their legal contracts, where you need to control who's able to access the data. And we were able to build a really, really neat solution for that, I would say, within a couple of months.
And are there any projects that you know of that you're able to mention that Elements was helping facilitate in 2021?
One that I'm proud to mention is Red Bull Media House. Red Bull is obviously a global brand, and what many people don't know is that they are a massive content creator. They have TV stations, they do a lot of stuff in the internet, and they do hours and hours and hours of really, really high-end footage every day. For example, in Austria, they also run the daily news at 8 p.m. on the TV, on their own TV channel. And we work together with these guys to build an all-element storage solution in their main facility in Austria, which is 6 elements, one full SSD systems, I think around 2 petabyte of storage, with a lot of Elements worker nodes, the media libraries in there for asset management and collaboration workflows. And they are running the whole production workflow, as far as I know now, of an Elements system. And that was quite an amazing project. And then there's also one at a university that I don't want to name just yet because it is quite brand new, but we will do a really, really nice and hopefully entertaining success story with them in a couple of weeks. And that system is probably one of the fastest and biggest storage environments, at least in Europe. It has a performance of 550 gigabytes a second. That is a crazy number. It is 20 Elements bowls and 80 Elements gateways, sharing a super high performance storage environment to several thousand students to do color grading classes, and also 3D classes and audio editing, video editing, all sorts of really cool things in a big European university.
Now, in 2021, it looks like Elements had brought a couple of new members and a couple of new team members on board, such as Heiko Schluter and Thomas Knudsen. Yes. Anything you want to say about how they have come to Elements and what they've brought to the team?
Yeah. So in general, we're always growing the team, but you picked two really, really cool guys from the list of new team members. But I mean, obviously, everybody at Elements, I love them all. So there's no favorite to pick. But for example, Thomas is a long-standing member of the Elements family because he was one of our first, or he was the head of IT at one of our first customers in Scandinavia. I think 6 or 7 years ago, where he worked at a creative company called M2 Film, which is a big animation studio. They do a lot of animation for Lego, the kids' toys and all the cinema movies. And he was the head of IT there, and he's a super, super clever workflow guru that is really good at building video workflows, and he has an amazing amount of experience from all sorts of angles. And he's also a security guy at heart. He likes to really chase security and try to get the system really, really how do you say safe, let's say, so that people can't really get access to it or can't hack it. And he's really into this kind of stuff. He's got all the certifications that are required to prove his skills there. And we were just super proud when we approached him and asked him if he wants to join us as head of integrations and security at Elements. And he was already one of our best sales guys when he was working at M2 Film because he loved Elements so much. And he was talking to many people in the industry. He's quite well known in Europe. And he brought us a lot of customers already back then. But having him full-time on board as a real member of the Elements family is just really great. And same for Heiko. Heiko came from one of our, I think it's okay to say, competitors. He worked for many, many years for EditShare. And I have this moment have to say EditShare, I respect the guys a lot because they started back in the really early 2000s, what we nowadays see as media entertainment storage. And I think they did a great job there. So I have a lot of respect for the company. And Heiko was there from day one in Germany. It's the first EditShare reseller and a really, really long-standing Avid reseller in Germany. And he has a lot of experience with broadcasters and with the market in general. He knows a lot of people. He's just really a nice and friendly person, really calm and super professional. And we're just super proud to be able to have him as a member of the team. Yeah.
All right. Well, what exciting elements lie in the future for Elements?
So what we see at the moment is, well, cloud is a topic that has been around since many years, obviously, but cloud has always been seen as really helpful when it comes to transferring assets or to archiving assets. And well, there have been areas that have been where the post-production workflows have been done in the cloud as well, but the majority of work has been about transferring or archiving in the cloud. And when we see now that with all the remote collaboration and with this new normal and the new way of working from home, that there's a super crazy surge of demand towards cloud-based workflows because people just have a whole new set of challenges. They have to ingest data from home into their corporate environments. And they just need to be able to manage these workflows in a whole new way. And we at Elements, we have been looking at these things quite closely for a couple of years, and we see that it's really a good time to get your hands dirty and start developing new ways of working and figuring out how companies can enhance their efficiency and their security and also their let's say their turnaround times by utilizing the cloud in new ways. And it's still early days. There's Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and all this where you can do a lot of cool stuff. But in terms of the applications that editors use day in, day out, like Adobe Premiere, Avid Media Composer, DaVinci Resolve, all these common tools, to utilize those together with the cloud is still a long way to go because the applications have to be redesigned in some form, or people need to build tool chains to understand that. And that is a real hot topic for us in 2022. So we're trying to get closer to the cloud. We're trying to transform Elements from an on-prem storage vendor to a platform that interacts with the on-prem storage where it makes sense and where it's necessary, but also with the cloud more and more. And often people like to use the buzzword hybrid workflows. I think it's a good fit. And that is our hot topic for 2022. And I think there will be a couple of quite amazing announcements coming to be seen soon from us.
Well, thank you so much, Heiner. It has been really great to get to know you. And thank you for joining us on Creative Cow.
Thank you, Brie. Nice meeting you as well.